ओके ठीक है। done.
Welcome to this another fresh series of Mentoring Mantra. In Mentoring Mantra, qualified chartered accountants who are a part of Vision CA share their insights on their life, their CA journey, and the way to go forward. With their selfless service, their attributes such as amazing qualities and such, they come alive on our YouTube channel to share their journey in CA. Today we have with us CA Navneet Raghuram, who's done his articleship in valuation advisory in video and is currently working on a investment banking domain in a global firm. He's also a AIR 49 rank person. Welcome Navneet to the show.
Thank you so much for having me on this show, Daau.
Now coming to the first question, which I am very excited to know more about. Could you tell us more about your CA journey? कि कैसे decide किया CA करना है, क्या thought process था, and like what led you to this amazing course?
So let me tell you a bit about my schooling days. I did my schooling from Dombivli. It is one of the suburbs outside of Mumbai. It is not considered a part of Mumbai. So I did my schooling there. During my schooling years, I developed a lot of interest in stock market. And one of the persons I used to look up to and still do would be Mr. Rakesh Jhunjhunwala. So there began the spark to do something in the commerce field. And moreover, I had a keen interest in businesses than in fields like physics, chemistry, and other fields. So I was very clear during 7th, 8th that I need to do something in commerce and not really venture into science branch of things. So it was pretty much clear that I needed to do something. So it was pretty much clear that I needed to do CA right since my schooling days. So yeah, that's how it began. And there was no doubt as such post 9th, 10th that what if I did this, that. So I was very much focused on CA. So yeah, that's how I began my CA journey. The seeds were sown during the schooling days, and I pursued it throughout the college days as well.
Perfect. You did your inter in a first go. At the same time, post qualifying your CA inter or CA IPCC, which was back earlier then, how did you decide upon your articleship? Like, what were your thoughts? Because उस time पे GST introduce हुआ था, and I believe you are in GST in the starting.
Yeah,
GST department.
Yeah. So the thing is, during my time, we didn't have access to organizations like Vision CA, wherein we can approach people easily on a one-on-one basis to understand what all fields are there. And moreover, I would say the YouTube culture has also picked up right now, wherein there are multiple videos explaining the various avenues available for articleship. During our time, it was very the information was very scarce, wherein you knew that there were 2 to 3 fields like audit, statutory internal, and taxation, direct and indirect. So GST was a very new thing back then. So I just thought, why not go with that? So I started off my articleship with GST in Desai Haribhakti. Soon I realized that indirect taxation is not my thing. I wasn't really enjoying enjoying my articleship. I think articleship is meant to be enjoyed. People might differ on this, but I feel it should be enjoyable. So when around 6 months passed, I started looking out for new opportunities. So with the help of a good friend of mine, I landed an articleship in BDO, their valuation advisory. The remaining 2.5 years of articleship experience was amazing. I learned a lot, and moreover, since my articleship in video was very much closer to the stock market interest, to my stock market interest, so I even enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot more. Valuation work involves comparable companies analysis, which entails analysis of all the listed players in India, because this was an Indian firm and the articleship was also for Indian clients. So there was a lot of analysis of stocks which are listed in Indian stock market. So it was much more closer to my interest area. That's how I started enjoying my articleship journey, and it helped, and it did really help ease out the stress involved with classes and articleship together.
I believe valuation advisory में तो काफी time जाता है. So how did you cope up with your CA final का studies and your articleship at the same time?
I did miss a lot of classes during my articleship days just because of the fact that the working hours are long as compared to other articleship areas. The working hours are long. In general, when you are in a big firm, the working hours are not really fixed. Like say 10 to 7, it is not really fixed. It might extend up to 10, 11, 12, whatever it is. So I used to miss a lot of classes, but I did ensure one thing, that I was very much diligent in making notes. So whenever I missed any of the lectures, I ensured that I took notes of that classes from my friends and tried to prepare the missed part by myself. That way, I wasn't really I didn't really lag behind from the lectures that were going on in the classes. So it eventually added up a lot in the end, and I was able to somehow cope up with the studies as well.
Perfect. I believe this type of work and the work-life balance that makes you aware of the future conflicts in time. Like we need to balance out our work at the same time study for our CA finals.
Correct. So I wouldn't say you need. I think work-life balance. So there is always a trade-off between work-life balance and what you want to do in
Achieve.
future.
Yeah.
For achieve in future or do in future, whatever it is. I wouldn't say I have achieved anything as such till now, but yeah, I would put it as what you want to do in future. What are your future plans? So I was very much clear that I was ready to trade off a bit of sleep and a bit of efforts for, say, a better role post qualification. That's how I chose that I wanted to do this, and I never really had a problem in working a little harder as compared to, say doing an articleship from a mid-sized firm wherein the work hours are fixed.
Perfect. How did you prepare in your CA articleship journey? Because
Mm-hmm.
your articleship days were like quite tough, taking the most of your time and even beyond the normal
Yeah.
hours. So how did you manage your studies?
So like I mentioned earlier, I just tried to keep myself abreast with the class, with the lectures that were going on in the classes. That's all I did. I never really had any time, or maybe even if I did, I never really took an effort to study as such during the articleship phase. The entire study process began in the last 5.5 months of the exam leaves that you get. So during that time, what I did was I did have a conceptual clarity on most parts, and I started working on the gaps that were there, that were left out because of, say, I did miss some lectures or some things that were a bit tougher for me. So I started working on those gaps first. So during the articleship phase, the only thing I did was I was just keeping myself in line with the classes.
Perfect. Next comes like you cleared your CA final in your first attempt.
Yeah.
You scored a rank, and
Mm-hmm.
with that, a lot of opportunities were there in front of you. So how did
Correct.
you select your current work, like current line of work? Like, was
So
it easy for
since
you to go for Credit Suisse, or was it because of your experience in valuation advisory role?
so first thing, I had so I was in a dilemma when I was starting my job search post qualification. So I did have a few pointers in my mind which helped me choose IB over others. So I was very clear that there were just two fields that I wanted to be in. Actually, there I didn't want to go into management trainee roles because I want to switch over to buy side in the future. So that management trainee roles aren't really wasn't an option for me. The two options that were left was management consulting and investment banking roles. So so the other criteria that I considered was, since my articleship was into a near core finance field, I didn't really want to venture out as such into a different domain itself. Rather, I wanted to enhance my skills in whatever I was already doing. So investment banking provides a much better opportunity in that sense than going into, say, management consulting.
Perfect. At the same time, I believe in investment banking, people prefer to go for additional degrees like CFA. So, do you think that supplementing your knowledge base with CFA is relevant for such jobs, for such jobs in IB, or like, let's say, management consulting or such? Or is it depends on the person to person basis?
So I have a slightly different perspective here. Let me divide this discussion into two parts. One is the knowledge, not from knowledge perspective, and another one would be from job opportunities perspective. Let's start with job opportunities first. So the roles like investment banking, what banks are looking for is exclusivity. So they don't want to open up the roles for each and everyone. What is happening right now is there are a lot of people doing CFA. So the exclusivity factor that I was talking about is lost somewhere there. Simply because, see, if you increase the passing percentage of CA exams to say 40-45%, automatically the exclusivity factor will go down. So that's how it is working right now. And even CFA Institute, I think, has started recognizing this, and the passing percentage for the past two exams have been alarmingly low, in near 20%, I would say. So yeah, that's what is happening. So I think from career perspective, doing a CFA degree isn't a really good choice right now. Maybe in the future, when the passing percentages come down, maybe it will again start providing you that exclusivity factor. From learning perspective, I would say it is a really, really, really good course, because I personally have cleared level 1 and level 2, and I have learned a lot about finance and investing through CFA. So, for example, it teaches you a lot about fixed income securities and everything, which is not really very prevalent in India. If you see, the bond markets in India are not very much active. You
Active
get
as
exposure
US,
to, yeah, you get exposure to various things that are there in bond markets, because the curriculum is based on US markets. So
Definitely.
there is a lot to learn from the curriculum as such. But if you're looking at it, say, if I do CFA, I think I'll get into an investment banking role. I don't think that is going to happen anytime soon.
So for investment banking, one should go for completion of CA and then go for CAT, I would say. Right.
So there are two things to this. One is, like I spoke about, the exclusivity factor. So if you get a rank, I have seen a lot of Indian banks in the June 21 attempt itself. I have seen a lot of Indian banks hiring rankers for investment banking roles. So for rankers, I think it is relatively easy now to get into investment banking. For others, what I would say is, I think CAT is the best option. Uh,
Definitely.
so even with CAT, you need to target top 3 colleges. Otherwise, I don't think you will be able to get into the bulge bracket banks.
Definitely. As we are talking about CFA, could you share some thoughts on CFA preparation strategy?
So I was doing CFA preparation along with my articleship. So for CFA, what I would suggest is, for level 1, I don't think any external help is required, because mainly those are basic concepts which we have learned in, say, junior college or BCom, or somewhere in the CA course itself. So you don't really need classes for that. But for study material, I referred Schwezer and I supplemented with CFA curriculum. But considering how quickly the passing percentages are falling, I would say not just supplement it with curriculum. I think people should start referring curriculum for CFA level 1 as well. So that is one thing. And for level 2, I think classes are required because we don't really have that much exposure to fixed income and portfolio side of things in our CA curriculum. Maybe the curriculum will be upgraded in
Near
the
future.
next year or so, because CA Institute is talking about bringing the SFM subject up to CFA levels. So maybe it might be upgraded, but at present, I think some external help is required
Definitely.
for this thing, for level 2. Again, for notes, I referred Schwezer plus CFA curriculum.
Definitely. Another question pops up in my mind that, like, CFA is necessary, but at the same time, the person should be looking at core finance roles, or basically IB. But he should be in IB and then do it. Like, CFA is a cherry, but CA is the whole cake. You can't
I
do
would
just
I
CFA.
would say, yeah, in India, that is the scenario currently. CA provides a lot more employability than CFA, is what I understand. This is basis my limited knowledge and experience. Please don't quote me on this, but according to me, CA provides a lot more employability in India.
Definitely, for sure. Coming to the last question, what is
Mhm.
the advice for students? And I would divide this into two parts: advice for normal students and advice for people who are working for getting ranks.
So I would start. Let me start with the second part first. People who are working to secure a rank in their final exam. So the thing with rank is I don't know. I don't know what exactly works here. But for me, what I would say worked was, the thing is I didn't leave even a single topic in, say, यार option में छोड़ देते हैं, ये नहीं आएगा करके. So that really helps a lot. I mean, so I have seen a lot of people leaving in law, say FEMA or IBC, saying यार ये तो 8 मार्क का वेटेज है, ये गया तो भी क्या ही होता है करके. 100 मार्क का पेपर है, बाकी का
Definitely.
हम लिख देंगे, 8 मार्क का छोड़ देंगे. बट इसमें प्रॉब्लम क्या होता है पता है, तुम जो 90 मार्क्स का लिख भी रहे हो, तुम्हें कैसे पता कि वो सही है
90
करके.
में से
सो
90
आई थिंक
आएगा,
वो,
हाँ.
हाँ, 90 में से 90 आएगा, वो नहीं होता. तो इसलिए आई थिंक फॉर रैंक, one important factor is to study the entire curriculum. That is, the entire study material should be thoroughly prepared for. I'm not saying that you need to understand, I mean, you need to learn each and everything, but you should be aware of all the concepts that are there in CA study material. The second thing is start early, because if you are looking, see, I am from a corona period. I did get some extra time, so it might not be, I hope it is not the case in your in the future batches case. But one thing is very important: one needs to start early, at least be in line with what is going on in the classes, and if there is some homework that is being provided by the class professor, it is better to complete it then and there. No one is going to check कि किया कि नहीं, बड़े हो गए यार, अभी कोई चेक नहीं करने वाला. बट बी ऑनेस्ट विथ योरसेल्फ. सो that is one thing. Consistency is very important for securing a rank. And for let's come to normal students then now. So for normal people, what I would say is last 5 months is more than sufficient for preparation. You don't really have to like study as them starting say diligently and all. Last 5 months is more than sufficient. So in the last 5 months, one thing I have noticed recently is there are a lot of YouTube videos that talk about preparation strategies, and they suggest a timeline basis their experience. For me, even I used to watch those videos during my preparation time, because I was very lost, extremely lost, when I began my CA preparation, because the curriculum is so vast that you need some kind of guidance. So even I referred to those YouTube videos. What I got to know was the timeline mentioned there was very much specific to them, and I was never really able to meet those timelines. Like they would say 10 days में FR खत्म हो जाना चाहिए. यार मुझे तो 25 दिन लगे थे FR खत्म करने के लिए. But the thing is, वो 25 दिनों में you need to do it. So 10 days में अगर तुमसे हो पा रहा है तो करो, ठीक है, लेकिन वो properly होना चाहिए. हर एक पेज में हर एक concept बराबर आना चाहिए. Second time revision में there should be no conceptual gaps. So I think that timeline should be taken as a reference, not as a hard stop, and people should start focusing more on conceptual clarity than यार 10 दिन में खत्म करना ही पड़ेगा कर.
Perfect.
See, not meeting those 10 days timelines dents your confidence a lot during the preparation days. So you should always keep in mind that those timelines are just indicator, and it is very much the timelines are very much a personal thing. For example, for me, SFM was just a 5-day essay, whereas the video that I used to watch suggested 10 to 12 days. So
Perfect.
it might also happen in your case that you are strong in particular subjects, because of which you might take a little lesser time than what is suggested in those videos. So it is better that you consider those timelines as a guidance than a hard stop.
Wow, that's quite some effort and learning from you. Thanks a lot, Navneet. It was pleasure hearing
Thank you
you
so
and
much.
talking to
Thank you
you.
so much.
I'm sure mentors and people would flock to you for guidance for getting into IB. The links will be given in the description below. Please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel Vision CA. More such videos will continue to come. Thanks a lot, Navneet. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you so much. One last advice for
Sure.
our students who are a part of Vision CA group. Please do approach your mentors a bit more proactively. Ask them questions. They are here to serve you. Please do make use of their knowledge, because in our time we didn't really have such an organization. We only once we started doing our articleship did we have access to seniors during our articleship
Definitely.
phase. For IPCC students, you have it right during your preparation phase. Please do go and approach your mentors, ask for guidance. They'll be more than happy to guide you through your journey.
Thanks a lot. That was one hell of a session. Thanks a lot, Navneet. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.